Hey, there you are. Come on in. Simone's here.
Hi.
Glad you're here. Here's what we're working on this Friday, June the 14th. OPP and Brantford police, they've arrested a Brantford woman following a shooting in Delhi in Norfolk County earlier this week.
And the City of Burlington expresses its disappointment with the Ontario Land Tribunal's decision regarding the Millcroft Golf Club.
Okay, one more day for you.
Last day.
Yeah.
Last day filling in for Annette, but she's back on Monday.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Doing a great job this week.
Thank you so much.
Getting comfy?
Yes.
Yeah, she put up with us for an entire week.
Surprising,
wow,
right?
good for you.
I had a fun time, and I got to be in
good.
studio,
Yeah.
but I do know that next week is going to be a very lovely week for me to be back outside. Is that right, Brian?
Oh, yes. You're going to love the heat and humidity next week. Oh,
humidity.
yeah. We're going to have heat warnings in effect with temperatures around 31 to 32. Some areas could hit 33 with humidex values in the 40s. You'll love being out in the heat.
That could probably be your story,
That
to
could
be
be my story.
honest,
Could
right?
very well
I'll
be.
be on the waterfront. Let's do
Could
it.
very well be. And what a lovely morning to be down by the waterfront this morning, and maybe next week as well. We do have some sunshine. Cue the birds. Okay, just in time. Some sunshine, but it's fairly cloudy still in the Hamilton area. The sun is up, obviously, this time into June. So we're looking at sun this morning, and then later on today, again like yesterday, but today it's only a slim chance of a shower or a thunderstorm later. But today will be cooler. 24, humidex 27. Yesterday we got to 28, humidex 33. It was a little stickier yesterday. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. We'll look at traffic here. Usually on Friday it's a bit lighter, and that's the way it is. Cue the bird again. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was like an Alfred Hitchcock movie there for a second. Here's the 403 and Waterdown Road. That looks pretty good at the moment. Nothing going on. To our MTO traffic cameras. We'll check just a few. Nikola Tesla Boulevard toward the Skyway. Still very light this morning. Other side of the Skyway at North Shore. Nothing to see. Appleby line is wide open, as you can see there, both directions. So we'll look at weather and traffic in just a few minutes. Coming up right now, the news.
Well, thanks, Brian. Let's get into it. I want to bring you an update to a story that we brought to you a little bit earlier this week. Police have arrested a Brantford woman following a shooting in Delhi in Norfolk County, but a male suspect is still at large. 24-year-old Shannon Diamond was arrested at a residence on Elgin Street in Brantford back on Wednesday. She's now facing a slew of firearm-related charges. Police say the 24-year-old was in a black 2016 Ford Escape in Delhi when a firearm was shot from inside the vehicle towards homes on Talbot Road and Queen Street. A man was also seen arriving and leaving the home in this vehicle. He's described as white, in his 20s. He's wearing a hat, sunglasses, a black balaclava, and a white shirt on the date of the incident.
Well, a Brantford man is facing sexual assault charges in connection with two separate incidents on walking trails in the city. Police say a 34-year-old man allegedly approached a female on a trail near Shullard Lane and Colburn Street West around 9 a.m. on Sunday. He then approached another female around 9:15 a.m. 2 days later. He was arrested yesterday and charged with sexual assault and criminal harassment.
A registered massage therapist from Milton is facing a sexual assault charge. Halton police have arrested and charged 37-year-old Stinderner Paul Singh Gill of Brampton with one count of sexual assault. The accused was working at Massage Addict on Louis St. Laurent Avenue in Milton at the time. Police were contacted by a woman who claimed that she was sexually assaulted during a recent massage at this location. So Gill is known to his clients as Joey. He's been employed at other massage studios, including in Halton, Peel, and York. He also treated clients at his home in Brampton. Police believe that there may be other victims. Well, there is no guaranteed way to prevent sexual assault. Details on free confidential support in Ontario can be found at sexualassaultsupport.ca. In Halton, you can also call the 24-hour crisis support line on your screen, 905-875-1555.
Well, Niagara police have shared video of a suspect damaging tens of thousands of dollars worth of grass at Bench Brewing Company. The surveillance video captured a suspect accused of damaging $70,000 worth of grass at the Bench Brewing Company in Lincoln last month. Officers say an unidentified suspect on a dark-colored ATV drove on the brewery's property and intentionally spread a liquid that killed a large amount of grass. On May 26th, the suspect was seen driving the ATV south on Maple Grove Road around 5:10 in the morning and north on the same road just after 5:30. Now, investigators say the suspect was wearing all black clothing and a black helmet with a face shield. The four-wheel ATV appears to be gray or green with 3 headlights and a large liquid herbicide container or sprayer attached to the back of it. Nearby residents are asked to review their surveillance video between 4:45 a.m. and 5:45 a.m. on May 26.
Let's get to Burlington now, because the city says it's disappointed with Ontario Land Tribunal's decision to redevelop Millcroft Golf Course. I want to bring in Sean Cowan, who is on this story for us live in Burlington with more on this. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Tim. Well, the developer says they want to keep the golf course open while integrating new family homes, and it looks like they got the go-ahead from the province. The proposed development would include 90 single-family homes and 130 condo units along Dundas Street to the north. The city of Burlington says it's important to address the housing demands, but this project fails to meet the key aspects of Burlington's housing strategy and community requirements. At public meetings, concerns were raised about increased traffic, the strain on infrastructure, and potential negative impacts on the local ecosystem. But despite these concerns, the Ontario Land Tribunal has granted the approval. And the developer says the single-family homes will replicate the current community. All homes will have at least a 50-foot frontage and are expected to range in size from 2,500 square feet to over 4,000 square feet. They will be providing a 20-foot landscape buffer between new and existing properties to help address privacy concerns. Now, the proposed condo project will not affect the golf course, according to the developer. That's actually going to be on Dundas Street, just north of here. But for now, I'll send it back inside to you.
Thanks, Sean. A stretch of James Street North in Hamilton will be closed to vehicles and transformed into a pedestrian-only hub of activity to celebrate the city's strong arts and food scene. James Street North will be closed between York Boulevard and Murray Street from 6 to 11 p.m. tonight. That's also going to happen in July 12th and August 9th. Now, the city says bus detours will be in place for routes that will be affected by these closures. People coming to Art Crawl are encouraged to walk, bike, or scooter over to the event. Well, nothing says summer like ribs sizzling on fiery hot grills. The Niagara Falls Rotary Rib Fest returns for its 20th year this weekend. Starting today at 4 p.m. at Rapids View Park, rib lovers can indulge in delicious food until 11 at night. They'll also be open on Saturday from noon to 11 p.m. and Sunday from noon to 7 in the evening. And it's all for a good cause. All proceeds are distributed back to the community through the Rotary Club of Niagara Falls.
Ribs. Okay, let's get to Edmonton. Game 3, Stanley Cup Final, where the Oilers desperately needing a win because you don't want to fall behind 3-0. Panthers, they had other ideas after a strong second period.
Plays it to the near corner. Reinhardt on it to hit to Barkov and ricochet to Rodriguez. Barkov scores on the rush, the captain, and it's 4-1 Florida.
Yeah, Panthers captain Sasha Barkov capped off a 6-minute stretch in the second where Florida scored 3 goals and took over game number 3. Barkov, who was questionable to even play after leaving game 2 early because of that hit to the head, fantastic. Once again, adding a helper as the Panthers, they would go up 4-1. Let's give the Oilers a little bit of credit because they would fight back to pull within 1. But Sergei Bobrovsky, he was just too darn good, making 32 saves in this one, a couple of 10-bell saves right at the end of the game. He is the leader to pick up the Conn Smythe Award for playoff MVP. Florida is now only a win away from winning Lord Stanley. They take this one 4-3. They can win it in Edmonton on Saturday night.
Here we go. Faking it. Into the end zone. Brown. Touchdown.
Week 2 of the CFL kicked off last night from the nation's capital with the Red Blacks kicking off their season against Winnipeg. And former Bomber backup Drew Brown, now starting in Ottawa, tossed the go-ahead touchdown to Justin Hardy with just under 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter right there. Then Mother Nature kind of took over the game. It was delayed because of lightning for over an hour. There was only 2 minutes left in the game, but they didn't get going again until like 11:15. That's when the Red Blacks defense came through against Zach Collaros and the Bombers, holding them out of the end zone and handing them a second straight loss. Winnipeg loses. Ottawa takes it. 23-19 was the final. So now every team in the East has a win except the Ticats, who return home after their opening week loss in Calgary to face the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who are also coming off a win in Edmonton in week number 1. Bo Levi Mitchell trying to lead the offense to the dub. Needs some help from his receivers, who dropped a few in game 1. The same can be said for the defense, who need to step up against the Green Riders. Note, this game is Sunday night, which wraps up week number 2, kickoff just after 7 o'clock. All right, off to North Carolina we go for the third golf major of the season, which is normally the toughest. That's the U.S. Open, and that's the case again this year at Pinehurst number 2. Still did have a couple low rounds from Patrick Cantlay, who was out early and carded a 5 under 65. Rory McIlroy went out in the afternoon. He carded the same darn thing. He also had a friend following him around, actually his whole group. So this is it's called a fox squirrel that was hanging around Pinehurst, taking in the tourney. An interesting looking little fox squirrel there. Hey, little buddy. He's quite interested in Rory. Why not? Rory, he shot pretty well. 5 under, sits atop the leaderboard with Cantlay. Heading into day number 2. Top Canadian Corey Connors at 1 under. Dundas native Mackenzie Hughes at 2 over. Tiger Woods 4 over. And let's wrap up with some UFC, because big news last night is Conor McGregor, who was supposed to return to the octagon in UFC 303 at the end of the month, is out of the main event with an injury. The former UFC featherweight and lightweight champ will not be fighting Michael Chandler on June 29th. Unclear what the injury is, but would have been his first fight since breaking his leg in a loss in UFC 264 almost 3 years ago in July of 2021.
All right, 6:12, and it is Friday, the 14th of June. We're looking at a fairly cloudy sky this morning in a lot of areas, but we should see more sun, so grab the sunglasses before we head out. Looking at the 403 and Waterdown Road, still doing okay. A little bit busier than what it was earlier, but no problems right now. And no collisions. Let's go to our MTO traffic cameras. Garden City Skyway looks good. Not a lot of sunshine through here, but you'll notice as we head around the Horseshoe, we get a bit more sun. Nothing at Nikola Tesla Boulevard, the 403 junction with Brant Street, nothing there. A bit more sunshine here east of Royal Windsor Drive, and there's the sun. 427 Gardner QEW combination, but you'll notice nothing happening on the roads. Temperature at the moment, we're sitting at 17 degrees right now, so above seasonal to start a morning here. It is a mainly cloudy sky. Winds are light. The humidity is 81%. The winds are shifting a little bit, and they will continue to shift for the day today. They will become northwest with that cold front going through. So today, we're looking at sun to start the day, and then we'll get chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. That'll be later on this afternoon, but a cooler high today, 24, still a humidex about 27. So the blue line that's arcing its way across the map here is the representation of the leading edge of the cooler air. We call that a cold front. So that's going to be pushing its way toward the east. The winds will shift to the northwest. The ridge of high pressure will come in for tomorrow and give us a gorgeous day, if a little bit on the cool side for the day tomorrow. And then we're looking at clouds rolling in for Sunday. But today, temperatures 24 degrees. So as I said, 28 yesterday, humidex of 33. Today, 24 and 25, humidex of 27. So a cooler day today with that chance, slim chance of instability. Tonight, skies clear beautifully. Temperatures anywhere from 12 to 11 to 13 around the Horseshoe, a little bit cooler away from the lake. And then tomorrow, look at the temperatures, 21 degrees tomorrow. That's below seasonal. But look at that sunshine. Keep in mind, very high UV index, but a sunny day tomorrow and quite comfortable actually. So out the door this morning, 14th of June, temperature right now 17, mostly cloudy. Long range coming up. Simone, Tim.
Good stuff, Brian. Really like that jacket there, Brian. Nice work.
Yeah.
All right, normally we would be saying good morning to Emily Vukovic here, but we've sent her out on a special assignment.
She's out.
Okay,
yes.
so we're going to be checking in with her in the next little bit, but coming up after the break.
Yeah, 2 Canadian cities have been dubbed as impossibly unaffordable to live in following a recent global report.
Coming up on 6:17 on the button. Oh, Brian, some money. $1 is our dollar down 12 basis points. There we go. Trading overseas at $72.67. Gold up big on this Friday, over $15, 23.33.30. Crude oil down 45 cents, 78.17 a barrel. Off to Europe we go. Hey, Europe, it's Friday. Markets are down in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets are up in Tokyo, down in Hong Kong, and slightly up in Shanghai. And in North American markets, the TSX lost 263 points. The Dow also shaved off 65, and the NASDAQ rose 59 points.
All right, glad you're here on this Friday morning. Hope you're doing okay to start your morning. Let's get into some business news. And the annual Global Housing Report has been released. 2 major Canadian cities made the list. So the report was conducted by the Graphia Chapman University, and they assess housing affordability in 93 major markets right across 8 countries, including Canada, Australia, China, the US, UK, and more. Let's have a little look at the list. As you can see, topping the global leaderboard, Hong Kong. May come as a surprise, but both Vancouver and Toronto made the list of cities that are impossibly unaffordable. Look at Vancouver. Well, we know they're expensive. My sister lives there. They're ranked number 3. Toronto takes the number 10 spot. An urban policy analyst says that Toronto and Vancouver made the list due to inflated housing prices, higher rents, and increased poverty.
Well, Stats Canada says Canadian household debt relative to income increased in the first quarter of this year, or rather decreased in the first quarter of this year. The agency says household credit market debt as a proportion of household disposable income was just over 176% in the first 3 months of the year on a seasonally adjusted basis. This compares with 178% in the fourth quarter of 2023. This means there was $1.76 in credit market debt for every dollar of household disposable income.
New federal data says Canada's greenhouse gas emissions could be 12% lower in 2030 with carbon pricing in place compared to if the government scrapped that plan. The data also shows that the pricing systems for consumers and big industry could cause Canada's GDP to take a $25 billion hit at the end of the decade, 0.9% below what it would be without the carbon price. So Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault published the data after accusations were leveled that the government was hiding its own analysis of carbon pricing.
Stats Canada says zero-emission vehicle registrations jumped 53% in the first quarter year over year. It says roughly 46,700 zero-emission vehicles were registered in the first quarter, marking up about 11% of total new vehicle registrations. It also says pickup truck registrations fell just over 8%. That's the first year-over-year quarterly decrease for the category after 7 consecutive increases.
We mentioned these layoffs yesterday, but 35 global news jobs have been cut across the country. Unifor says Corus Entertainment recently announced changes that led to layoffs for some of its members in major cities in Ontario, BC, and Alberta. These cuts are in addition to the 11 Unifor members at Global who were already laid off this year. Union calls it a devastating blow to the industry, adding that the jobs are desperately needed in this country.
Well, Uber says new rules for rideshare and delivery workers in BC will drive up costs. The company calls it unreasonable to force platforms to pay workers for using a personal vehicle and says the changes could reduce demands for local restaurants. But Uber says it does support an increased minimum wage and health and safety coverage. The first in Canada regulations take effect on September 3rd.
Okay, a little snapshot of what's making business news on this Friday. So it's Friday. That means the weekend is here.
Yes.
Almost.
So
What's it look like? Brian has that story after this.
6:24, good morning. It is Friday, and we've made it. All right, we've got a bit of sunshine this morning, but it looks fairly cloudy here, but nothing as far as the roads are concerned. Garden City Skyway West, that looks good. We'll flip ahead to south of 2. This is basically the camera at North Shore Boulevard coming off the Skyway. Still moving nicely. Same with east of Appleby line. Flip ahead to Sheraton through Mississauga, all doing fine. Same with the 403 at Eastgate Parkway as you head toward the 401. Nothing there this morning. Temperature at the moment, well, Toronto, the cool spot at 15 degrees, otherwise 16 for Grimsby, 17 for Hamilton and for Mississauga. We talk seasonal temperatures. That right now, 13 degrees for the overnight low. So to start a morning at 17, we're above seasonal. 24 for the daytime high. Those are our sun times and our records for today. Yeah, a little instability for the day today, but that'll be later on. So going into school this morning, should be 19 for the first bell. 24, that's the high for the day for after school. And there's that chance, slim chance, of a shower or a thunderstorm. So that's this afternoon. Tonight, down to 12 degrees. So it will be cooler overnight. If, nice, you can flip open the windows if it's safe to do so, of course, and get a little fresher air in. 21 tomorrow. So that's below seasonal, but a lovely sunny day. Gorgeous. We get a bit more cloud cover for Sunday for Father's Day, and then look at those temperatures ramp up. 31 to 32 all the way through Monday into Thursday as summer arrives on Thursday. That's your forecast, Simone. Tim.
Ooh, look at those temperatures.
Stunning.
Yeah, bring on summer. And there's so much going on this summer when it comes to the sports world. So you have the Olympics, you have the Euro Cup. It's tough for us because we can't show all that much Euro Cup stuff because there's restrictions with video, but we can show an orangutan guessing who's going to win because it's going to be kicking off this afternoon, and it's already ramping through the air. Rampaging. There we go. Let's go with that. Rampaging.
Well, this is a pre-game prediction. So a 35-year-old Walter, the Oracle orangutan residing in Germany, he predicts a victory for his host nation over Scotland in today's opening match. Now, at first, he chose a bucket of food decorated with a German football scarf, but he also showed a bit of interest in the Scottish option. So Walter has a track record of accurately predicting soccer outcomes in major tournaments and domestic competitions. 3-time winners, Germany will start as strong favorites against Scotland, despite indifferent form in recent tournaments, including exiting the World Cup at the group stages twice in a row.
Yeah. Shout out to our lineup editor and writer Hadi, who put that together. Huge soccer fan, so I know he's excited for the Euro Cup, like many of us are. So we'll try to cover it as best we can when that kicks off this afternoon. Okay, off and running on your Friday. We'll see you in a couple minutes. 1 half hour down. Lots more to come.
Saw the kangaroo, had a talk with the chimpanzee.